And so it begins.
Good evening, my name is John Headlee, and today we are going to lose the Jesus look as I tell you why you should be following me on TV.
To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed. The bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people.
Follow me on a journey not just across America, but across the world. Let's find out if I am indeed the bastard descendant of the last Tsar of Russia. Let's find out indeed if this world is ready for change. And let's be the change that makes this world into something worth talking about. In 2016, I planned to run for president. I'm not even going to be eligible. That's not the point. The point of running for president when you're not eligible is to be the change the system needs, to force a constitutional convention. I want to spend $18 trillion over a period of 5 years. $5 trillion would be spent to put electromagnetic high-speed rail tubes across the country, replacing all the interstates so that we can travel at speeds up to 4,000 miles per hour. The next $5 trillion would be spent replacing all the major routes that connect the rural and metropolitan areas with high-speed trolleys. Curious, sir. Curious. The final $8 trillion would be spent on the Swirlplex initiative to make a self-sustaining system that reduces the spread of suburban plight and begin to turn the tides against global warming, against homelessness, against our energy crisis, against our economic crisis, to make cars and oil-based transportation not only obsolete, but just completely unfeasible.
The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world.
We have an economy that wavers between $15 and $18 trillion a year. Imagine if it was over $100 trillion. The reason why I'm an ideal candidate for president is because I've lived it all. I was raised in a suburban environment with a family that was in the upper echelon of society. I've been a scholar, artist, a journalist, a salesman, an owner of a company, a delivery man. I've lived in small cities, I've lived in big cities, I've lived in the country. I've lived as someone traveling down the rivers and camping out and existing in nature.
Going 20 miles an hour, being towed in a canoe, that's an interesting experience.
Over the last 10 years, I have built a career of being eccentric. It opened up my eyes to a variety of different subcultures. Drag queens and LARPers, Civil War reenactors and burners, the fetish community. I've been featured in Hustler as a cougar trainer. I have worked in 2 artist collectives. 2 factories, if you will, learning what it's like to be a Warhol, learning what it's like to be in a community. I've lived as a homeless person.
More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness.
The point of this is not for this face to become the face of a country. The point of this is just to be the change. Because you, the viewer, are going to be changing just as much as I am. We are all going to be taking on this adventure together, because if we don't do it together, we are all going to perish together. And over the next 2 decades, there are going to be a lot of radical changes that occur across the globe to ensure that we actually can survive not just this century, but to survive into 3114.
Ooh, Headlee. John Headlee.
Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will.
Whoever you are watching this, keep this ego in check. Thank you. That is all. Are you going to do a beard? I think you're going to do a beard. Oh yeah. I am. Follow me on an adventure, not just across this country, but across this world for change. Let's find out if I am indeed a bastard descendant of the last Tsar of Russia. Let's find out indeed if this country is ready for change. And let's end this journey in the White House in 2016. I'll see you there.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white.
What are we going to call it? Let's aim for the cover of GQ and go with Gnostic.